Welcome to the Quabbin Regional School District DCAP website. DCAP stands for District Curriculum Accommodation Plan. A DCAP integrates different student supports across the entire school and incorporates SEL supports regardless of the issues the student is showing. School-wide SEL offers an opportunity to enhance existing systems of student support. Learning is an intrinsically social and interactive process, and school-wide SEL supports students whether they are learning behavioral expectations, solving a complex math problem, joining a game of kickball during recess, or writing an essay from the perspective of a literary character. School-wide SEL, then, is neither solely a behavioral support nor solely an academic support, but aligns with and complements all supports aimed at student achievement and well-being. This website has been put together for educators in the district to help both break down the DCAP itself and also provide a place for educators to quickly access different types of accommodations that will work for students in different situations. The homepage has been laid out for you to quickly be able to find whatever you need based on the type of accommodation or information you're looking for. To see the actual DCAP document, click right here. You can also find out what our MTSS is all about and what a DCAP really is. The first thing I'd like to show you is the quick links. This is a matrix of all of the different accommodations and answers to questions that you might ask laid out all in one place. This is for people who pretty much know what it is they're looking for. This is the easiest way to click directly into something. Also notice at the bottom of each page throughout the website, we have our accommodations forms. This will give you the ability to track the accommodations that you've used by child, and you'll be able to let administrators see what types of accommodations are being used in the classroom from day to day. Also, we have a shared Google Drive folder that you can access down at the bottom of each page. This is a new resource that will be growing as we find more things to add to it. Right now, what we have in there is a whole lot of graphic organizers. There are also a few different books that have information about graphic organizers and things that have to do with SEL. Right now, it's in the baby stages and it's not organized into subfolders, but it will be given a little bit of time. So as you can see, there are links at the top of the website, and we've broken the site down into classroom accommodations, curriculum accommodations, assessment strategies, and best practices. We've also got an educator input page. This will allow you to make suggestions about what you'd like to have as part of this website. The whole purpose of the website is to make teaching and offering accommodations easier. So you can go up to the educator input page, or you can go directly to the form, which is also down at the bottom of each page. Another thing that we have listed on the site is a document describing the differences between accommodations, modifications, and interventions. A lot of people get a little bit confused by that, so here we're laying it out specifically for you. We've also got a list of the different types of supports that you can find at all of our schools. We also have a direct link to our referral forms. Finally, we have the DCAP document broken down into more readable chunks. Each part of the DCAP is hyperlinked so that you can go in and read about it specifically and in smaller parts. And finally, a glossary of terms. This is growing as we get questions. Things will be added. So if you do have any questions about anything you run into on the site, please make sure that you put in a form and simply ask the question, ask it to be defined, and we will add that. So to begin with, we have classroom accommodations. So this is basically a very general resource for educators. They can be used in any class. They don't have to be reading or math specific, as you'll find here. under the curriculum accommodations. So here we've got a whole bunch of different issues that are addressed. Anything with an arrow here is expandable to have subpages. So here we've got attention issues, executive functioning, momentum issues, routines, spatial issues, and mood. When you click on attention, we've got compliance. So this has a list of the different accommodations that you might offer to a student with compliance issues. We've also got executive functioning issues. Going back to attention issues, maybe you have students who have impulse control issues. Here's a list of accommodations you might use with them. Inattention is another one. Maybe you've got students with mood issues or motor activity issues, or maybe it's a socialization problem. Perhaps you have students with issues that have to do with executive functioning, such as routines or instruction. Maybe you have students who have issues when it comes to you introducing new concepts, or maybe you have students who have not quite figured out how to keep themselves organized. Some students have issues with momentum, whether it is an anticipation problem or the fact that they need to have choice in order to be motivated to work. Here we have lists of different things that might help to keep students motivated. I will be adding resources as we go along. Many times you'll see something and you can make your own copy simply by clicking on that. Maybe you have students who can't deal with interruptions, or they need more notice when things are going to change or transition. Maybe you have students who have issues with routines, or maybe you need to rethink the concept of the way you've set up your room for certain activities. Here you can see different seating arrangements, and when you click on each one, you'll see the pros and cons of the setup. Maybe you have a student who's got mood issues. Here are some accommodations on how to deal with that. Next, we have different accommodations listed by the curriculum. For students with reading issues, is it visual spatial? Maybe it's an issue with comprehension. Again, I'll be adding more things as we get them. Or maybe they have an issue with making connections or the big picture. Maybe your student has difficulty with math, computational weakness, or problems connecting math to the world, connecting to the math concepts themselves. Maybe they understand part of what you're trying to teach, but they can't make it all work together. Or maybe it's a visual spatial disorder. What if you're not a reading or a math teacher? Do you have students who have issues with other things? When it comes to vocabulary and language, we've got a whole list of things that can help your students here. The fact is that all of these accommodations that are listed on this site are things that you can use with all of your students. However, sometimes you do have students who you must use them with because they're on an IEP or a 504. These two pages, IEPs and 504s, give a little bit more information about what IEPs are and what 504s are. I've also linked an article that is quite helpful. Perhaps you're wondering how students are assessed for their IEPs and 504s. Well, here we have listed from the DCAP the ways in which students are assessed. Part of the DCAP also includes best practices, instructional support practices aimed at assisting all learners to achieve the learning standards contained in the Mass state frameworks. They include but are not limited to curriculum and materials, classroom and climate, instruction and learning, and executive functioning. These are the basics of the website. We hope that you find it very helpful, and we also hope that you will use it and help us to build it into something even better for you. Please be sure to let us know what you think of it, and feel free to please fill this in with any of your suggestions. Good luck with your accommodations, and let us know if we can add anything that will help.